Hi, I do hope you are well. Alay is here, and today we're checking out some more Reddit story. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from Juggernautno 901 from the RFAM I Overreacting.
And says, "Am I overreacting for not forgiving my husband that left me alone 2 hours during childbirth? I gave birth to my first child this summer. Before I was clear with my husband that I needed him present. After we arrived at the clinic, he started complaining that his chair was uncomfortable. He told me he wanted to go home. We live 10 mins away from the clinic to take a pillow, have lunch, and take a nap. I told him that I wanted him here with me, that he can go home to grab a quick lunch and take a pillow back. But no nap, and I was hoping he could be back as soon as possible. He left, and only came back 2 hours later. He had called his family and friend, not my family though, had lunch and napped in the sofa. I was fine when he was away. I had the epidural. But at some point, baby heart rate plummeted. Midwives made me switch position, and it came back to normal. Couples of minutes after he was back, I had incredibly strong contractions, without rest between them. He really was incredible, and helped me a lot through them. But it was lucky it didn't started just minutes earlier. 1 hour later, baby heart rate plummeted again. But this time it was not coming back up. Doctors were called and I had an instrumental vaginal delivery that was very intense. I now have the most perfect baby boy. But I have a hard time letting go of what happened during his birth. And it is still a bittersweet moment for me. I want to forgive my husband. He said he is very sorry, and it was a mistake. But I cannot actually forgive. I think there is 2 things that really anger me. The what if my baby heart rate dropped when he was away. If it didn't go back to normal, I would have required an emergency C-section, and he wouldn't have been here to welcome our son. The second is that I have a hard time asking for help. In my most vulnerable time, I was able to verbalize what I needed. And I am proud of myself for that. But he still chose to ignore it. Am I overreacting by not forgiving him, even if he is an amazing and very present dad?
Now, for me, this is one of those stories where the issue isn't just that he left the room, it is that she told him exactly what she needed in one of the most vulnerable moments of her life. And he still chose his own comfort first. And I think that is the part that really stings here. Because yes, he came back. Yes, he helped later. And yes, he may genuinely regret it now. But regret after the fact doesn't erase the moment where she clearly said, "I need you here." And he decided a nap mattered more. The scary part is that labor is unpredictable. Things can change in minutes, and in this case, they actually did. So I really don't think she is overreacting. I think she is struggling with the fact that when she was at her most exposed, the person she depended on most misread the moment completely. And honestly, even his explanation makes it worse in a way. He thought he was preparing for the finish line, but she needed him before that. She needed him during the part that was already happening. While a commenter called Lissa Bryan says, "I have strong suspicions that your husband is going to be napping through a lot of the struggles in your life. It is up to you to decide whether you will settle for that treatment." Impressive Union 6961 says, "Not overreacting. It was not a mistake. It was a choice. Selfish, lazy, reckless choice, completely disregarding you. I would not be able to forgive or forget, so I am not judging you." Two Theories says, "He didn't make a mistake. He did exactly what he wanted despite his wife, in hospital laboring to deliver their child, saying she needed him beside her, and also expecting him back within 30 m rather than 2 hours. He intentionally ignored her wishes and let her watch the clock waiting for him because he wanted a nap. Despite labor being a moment when her needs and comfort ought to be centered and his focus especially prioritized over his desire for a nap. He was selfish in a way he knew would hurt his wife, because they had talked about this and he knew she expected him back earlier. His apology doesn't address this, and so it is not genuine. He probably just wants her to stop complaining about it, especially since he is making excuses, and there is no mention of him doing anything to try and make it up to her, or show he will put her needs over his own. Trust would be very hard to restore. And it doesn't even sound like he is trying. Poor Opie, but what do you guys make of this situation? Maybe you saw another solution to the situation. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story.
Now, our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit from Maddie2261. It says, Am I the arsehole here for hating my unborn niece's racist name? Truly cannot believe this is my life. But here we go. So my 23F brother, Josh 26M, and his girlfriend, Alyssa 24F, are expecting their first child. Alyssa is currently 5 months pregnant. A couple weeks ago, they hosted a gender reveal party, and we found out they were having a baby girl. We were all super excited and so happy for them. The vibes were up, and it was an all-around great time. But then Alyssa and Josh announced soon after the gender was revealed that they had also planned to reveal the name they had chosen for the baby. I guess they had both a girl and a boy name picked out in the event of either. So we were all still sitting around the tables. Friends, family, everyone, and my brother and Alyssa proudly exclaim, "Her name is Aggie Antebellum." Now I am instantly thinking to myself, surely I have not heard this correctly. There is no way my brother and his girlfriend just told us their daughter's middle name is going to be Antebellum. But literally everyone just oohs and ahs, and the party continues, like nothing has happened. So now I feel like I am losing my mind. I immediately turn to my parents and say something like, "We are not being serious, right? They cannot name her that." To which my mom tells me to stop being so negative, and that the name sounds beautiful. She despises conflict of any kind. IDK, if that is relevant or not. My dad does not comment. So, in an attempt to maintain some semblance of sanity, I try to talk to a few cousins' family members about it, to which a few of them at least acknowledged how fucking crazy of a name choice it is. But even then, the most extreme reactions ultimately boiled down to whatever. Who are we to say? It is their kid. So I guess word got back to my brother and Alyssa that I was making rounds at the party telling everyone I hated the name. Alyssa called me a few days after the reveal and told me how disappointed and hurt she felt by my reaction, and how I brought so much negativity to a day that was supposed to be so special to her. I chose to take a calm, informative approach when I replied, and I tried to explain to her the historical weight of the word antebellum, hoping she would see reason and realize I truly do mean well. But she just tells me she has already read all about it, and that she doesn't consider it offensive. She even referenced the whole Lady Antebellum band changing their name to Lady a debacle, and how that was all so silly. She basically says she thinks it is a beautiful sounding word, and that she wants her daughter to have a beautiful sounding name. Aggie fucking Antebellum, mind you. We literally live in New England. Does that not sound like the kind of name you would give your kid if you also happen to run your local chapter of the KKK? So I am absolutely flabbergasted at this point, but I decide to put a pin in it and end the phone call, knowing we have a family dinner in a few days. Close family. Just my parents, me, Josh, and Alyssa. I will spare you the details. BC, this post is already too long, but basically after dinner is done, and we are having drinks, the name comes up again, and I cannot bite my tongue. I repeat everything I told Alyssa on the phone, to the point that I am practically begging them not give the baby this name. My brother doesn't say much until Alyssa snaps at him for not defending her, at which point he told me I was being a bitch and to knock it off. Dad doesn't say much. Mom once again tells me to stop being so hateful and that it is a beautiful name. Now here is where I may have been a bit of an awe, or at the very least, could have handled it better. Things basically escalated to the point where I was in such disbelief at how profoundly ignorant and stupid the two of them were being. And I said, maybe next time you will have a boy, and you can name him Jim Crow. This resulted in Alyssa leaving the table to cry, and I promptly dismissed myself before my mother could kick me out first. My mom was pissed at me, like worse than I have ever seen her. I still feel like I am being gaslit into thinking this is not the most diabolical name choice they could have come up with. But neither my mom, brother, nor Alyssa have spoken to me in about a week and a half, and I am starting to feel so profoundly insane about the whole thing to the point that I am starting to wonder if I truly was a jerk about it. So Aita for not wanting my unborn niece to enter the world with a my parents, our stupid racist idiot sign attached to her forehead? Just me?
For me, this isn't really about whether the name sounds pretty. It is about the fact that antebellum carries very obvious historical baggage in an American context, and once that was pointed out, they still cared more about the aesthetic than the meaning. Now, was Ope harsh by the end? Yeah, definitely. But I also understand why she snapped. Because when someone is calmly told why a word is loaded and they double down anyway, it stops feeling like an innocent naming choice and starts feeling willfully insensitive. And that is the part I would struggle to ignore. Comment from Koshasmine 6604. Genuous and low-key. I don't understand why she was upset at that, cause that literally may as well be what she is doing. It is just a different racist term. Honestly, them not talking to you is a win. They are racist, but don't want to be called racist, nor open their minds. Not the arsehole. Glimpseowen says, oh yeah, they are racist. I suspect that she thought Lady Antebellum was a pretty name, and was annoyed by the change to Lady A, and the name selection was intended to show that people were overreacting, because Aggie Antebellum suspiciously means that the child could be jokingly referred to as Lady A and keeps the antebellum construction. It is why they are both so miffed at being called out. They didn't expect that real people were actually offended over the Lady Antebellum name, and didn't have a plan for facing negative reactions. While Rainialis Ka says the word antebellum means before the war, it is usually associated with the time period before the American Civil War, but not exclusively. Not something I would name a child. What do you guys think about this one? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, thank you so much for spending your time here with me today. Your support, your kindness, and all the conversations we share genuinely mean so much. I really do appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care, and much love.